Welcome to the Pie Martins class story. We are still reading the... I have got so many hints and tips out of this book. It's amazing. Okay, we have been reading The Incredible Bulk. He is obviously very good. We say very good at sports and PE. He eats lots but doesn't eat any fruit or vegetables, which apparently is how you spell it in his letter. And they're all off to the school canteen for luncheon. They had to get in quick or Bulk would have polished off the main course before they even got there. The teacher would pick up the entire tray of spaghetti bolognese or whatever was on the menu that day. Then he would waddle over to the table, waddle, waddle, whiddle, slam the tray down, dunk, before burying his face in it. He didn't believe in using cutlery. Cutlery is for quitters, was another one of his mottos. Mr. Bulk ate like a farm animal at a trough, barely coming up for air. Gobble, gobble, gobble. When he finally did come up for air, his face would be covered in food. A before and after picture. He would then belch loudly. Bulk had the meatiest burps. They were so meaty you could slice them with a carving knife. Oh, that's gross. Then the teacher would move on to the desserts. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Burp. Before finally devouring an enormous meat-based packed lunch that his mum had made for him. A whole roast hog, a metre of salami, and 100 chicken legs. Gobble, 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 burp. His excuse for eating like this: us athletes need all the energy we can get. I wouldn't want to waste away, he would say, slapping his big fat tummy. Slap, wibble, wobble, wobble, and waddled off. After his 2 lunches, he would crash out on a crash mat in the sports hall and snooze for the rest of the afternoon. Bulk's eating may have been prodigious, but his teaching was not. His sports lessons were a complete joke. What made matters worse was that a huge match with a rival school was looming, and not a single boy at Toddle School had received a moment's football coaching. They hadn't even seen a ball, let alone kicked one. It was the school's football championship, and the Twaddle team was heading for yet another disaster. Every week the boys would plead, "Please, please, 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 can we have a practice game, sir? Otherwise we're going to get thrashed." Have I ever told you my story about the World Badminton Championship? I hit the shuttlecock so hard it shot it up out into outer space. Yes, sir, chimed the boys, 1,000,000 times. The days, weeks and months passed, and the football championships were edging nearer. In the time when the boys should have been honing their football skills, Bulk was boring the life out of them with his stories about how he could beat anyone in a swimming race across the English Channel, even though he still had to wear armbands, get a hole-in-one at a golf course in Scotland, even though he teed up the ball in Ireland, outrun the fastest man in the world over 100 metres and still have time to stop for a kebab on the way, karate kicked a tree over, win the Tour de France on his mum's 3-wheeler, wrestled a man to the ground while still eating a bag of pork scratchings, weight lifted the entire science block including the hefty laboratory technician Mrs. Chaff, and pole vaulted over the main school building using over a 30-centimetre ruler for a pole. Finally, the day of the big match came. Twaddle School was facing a team from the reigning champions, Course College. They had won the school football championships every year for a staggering 100 years. It was hardly surprising, as they always cheated. First, although this was under 12's match, one of the Course College team looked much, much older. One even had a shave just before kick-off. I'm thinking that these are definitely much older than they should have been.
What? Let's see. About 30.
second Course College played dirty. They spent more time tripping you up, elbowing your eye, or kneeing you in the groin than they ever did kicking a football. Third, they made sure one of their dads was always the referee. So the dad/referee blew his whistle for the start of the game. Twaddle team was still running onto the pitch. I'm not sure that's very good. To me, shouted the course captain, who actually had a beard. His team fanned out behind him. It looked as if there had been a mass escape from a local prison. There was a sea of broken noses, tattoos and hairy legs. Needless to say, they demolished their opponents in seconds. The Twaddles did their best, but they didn't stand a chance, not least because they had zero opportunity to practice. At half-time, the referee blew his whistle. The score was 10-0 to Course, of course. Not that Mr. Bulk paid much attention to the game. He was much more interested in the table of sandwiches that had been laid out for the boys to eat after the match. Sadly for them, Bulk had eaten them all, except one final coronation chicken sandwich. The teacher was now eyeing up the table, wondering if wood tasted nice. What was left of the Twaddle team hobbled over to him. "Mr. Bulk, we are being thrashed," began the captain. "What are we going to do?" The teacher stood perfectly still, save for one part of his body, his mouth. He was chewing, and he finally swallowed that last sandwich. And we're going to leave it there and find out what he does tomorrow.